the loot that we'll see in chests. We're not going to be seeing adamant armor in people's chests anymore. We're not going to see anything in anybody's chests, but we're not going to see adamant armor in the treasure chests that are all around the world.
Absolutely, and we're getting started. And we've got a couple of really fun characters to start with tonight.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, these two don't usually get along very well, but we do have Tella and Edward as our starting duo.
Oh, yes. I know a lot of people who are going to be thrilled to see this. Most of those people are not racing right now.
Yeah, this is a pretty high difficulty for the starting. They're going to have to possibly lean on some of the J items that are able to be found in this in order to get past some of the early bosses and get a character who can do more damage on their own.
Yeah, now, both of these characters can do some good, but you gotta work for it. We're probably gonna see some heavy relying on J items, because those can carry a lot of weight until we either get somebody better, or we can get Tella to our deals, or get a decent bow for Edward.
Yeah, it looks like all of the runners are going around looting the free chests that are available in the town of Baron. Not a bad start, because there are quite a number of chests that are available right at the start of the game.
Yeah, that's a standard play for most players, but for good cause, really. And we are seeing chat pointing out as well that we're not going to see the good J items in shops, so if we want to see things like Diagrams or Stardust, which can take out a lot of the early bosses right away, we're gonna have to pull them out of chests, which they can still come up on the T3, so that's really going to be the most exciting thing that can come up in a chest right now, I think.
Yeah, probably the best one that I see that they've found in Baron itself was the Grimoire, which can summon a random summon monster. So you might get unlucky and get the Chocobo. Now I can't even talk. Or you could get lucky and get the Bahamut summon. So it's a bit of a crapshoot, but it can definitely swing the tide of a battle.
Yeah, we will have to see what happens, because, like you said, it's just as likely to get Bahamut as it is to get something lousy like a Chocobo. And
really doing some item hunting in the Misty Cave as well.
That's an interesting play. You don't see it too often in races, generally because it does eat up a lot of time, but, if you are wanting that, if you are feeling less confident about what you're finding, there are certainly chests there.
I think one of the most interesting play, the reason that it might not be as bad a play as it normally is one advantage of the Tella start is Tella does start the game with the exit spell. So as soon as Aurelius got all the chests in the Misty Cave, he was able to just exit right out of there.
Yeah, so it's not a bad idea. It's not common. I don't know that I would do it, but, it's certainly something that can pay off sometimes. And I'm just... Sorry, I'm having a minor issue on my end with my computer.
Okay, I'll try to pick up the slack then, okay, Neon?
Yes, it'll just take 1 second while I try and work this out here.
No worries. Looks like we got a peek of the character in the Sand Ruby spot in the town of... Oh, now I can't even remember. Kaipo, that's the name of the town. I thought it was Fusia, but it was only a very quick glance, so I wasn't 100% sure.
Oh, well, that will definitely get people looking for that Sand Ruby, which means, of course, it'll probably be behind something terrible.
Probably be on the moon.
Oh, yeah.
Edge, it was. Edge. I knew I saw that blue color in there, so... Still a very, very desirable character to have in your party.
Absolutely, yeah, especially early on.
Supremacy, the first one heading to Mount Hobbs to try to grab another character. We'll see what we've got there. Looks like Kane is the character to get. It looks like a Water Hag possibly is the fight. Oh no, it is the Fabul Gauntlet, it looks like.
Oh no, but that shouldn't be that bad to take down here. You know, we finally have a strong character now that we have Kane, because he does join for the Mount Hobbs fight, so he should be able to do the work here, and Kane should be able to make a lot of difference as far as that goes. And the nice advantage here too, for all of the party, is that, and it's not something that's always relevant, but as far as it goes for the experience, you are going to get it progressively through the gauntlet. So that will help Edward get some levels, it'll get Tella some levels, and it'll get Kane some levels.
Yeah, and it looks like Supremacy did have a rune axe found earlier in the game, able to use that for Kane, so he could do some decent damage in this fight as well, because otherwise he's just starting out with that regular spear, and that is not a very effective weapon.
No, it's not. But fortunately, one of the, I think the best weapon that you can get out of a chest in T3 is the rune axe, and fortunately it was right there in Baron for us.
Rune axe, quite a good weapon. Generally considered the best weapon for Cid, but it can also be used by Kane and Paladin. Cecil has a bonus in any monsters who are classified as mage type. It does 4 times damage too, so it's a very useful weapon overall, because there's a lot of monsters that are classified as that mage type.
Yes, not in the gauntlet yet, but you know what? You don't really need it there. That is enough that it will it'll get the job done.
Even a low-level Kane here can one-shot most of these gauntlet enemies with that rune axe. Looks like Zyrak is heading into the Antlion Cave.
Makes sense. With that exit, that will be very easy to get out, and it's not a hard boss, even for a weak starting party.
Yeah, if they found 1 or 2 decent J items, then they should be able to beat it. Otherwise, it might be kind of difficult with the low-level magic and Edward's general uselessness early in the game.
Yeah, and of course that can be a problem.
But if they found, I know that there was at least a firebomb, the grimoire, I think I saw Notice somewhere. Those are all decent items that could be used to defeat a boss with as low HP as in the Ant Lion. Thinking Sand Ruby, because that's what you get in the vanilla game there.
Yeah, those lower end ones like the Notice, you know what? Now's the time for them to shine. They're not usually going to hold up later on.
Exactly. And then once you get the decent characters, like you can get Kane at Mount Hobbs, so you won't need to rely on those J items for much of this game.
Yeah, so, you know, all you need then is just that little bit of carrying.
And we have Dark Knight Cecil in the Antlion spot, so it looks like they're just going to tank the 3 hits.
Yeah, that should not be any kind of problem at all. Even for a low-level Edward, it's hitting for basically nothing. And he's healing, but I don't even think he really needs to. But might as well, it's not gonna hurt.
And Cecil tells us that justice is not the only right in this world, so that'll give them a key item.
Will it be a good key item is always the question.
Ooh, the Darkness Crystal is definitely a good item.
Ooh.
The Darkness Crystal will unlock the Big Whale, which will give the party access to both the moon and the Giant of Babylon.
Oh, sorry about that. Just that noise went through.
And on the moon, there is a free character, a shop, and a bunch of bosses.
Yes, and it does take up a fair bit of time, though, so you may not see everybody rush for that.
I mean, technically, we're in go mode. Darkness Crystal and Crystal. Those are the two items that you need in order to beat the game.
Yes, but I don't think we're going to see anybody go right to Zerobus right now.
Yeah, they might want to get their characters a little bit better before going there, but...
Yeah, and this... Still, it should be interesting, because it might actually encourage some of our more daring players to try and push with this lousy starting party.
Yeah, we might be in for a relatively fast seed, for sure. I mean, starting with the Crystal is always one that's going to be a potential really fast seed. But finding the Darkness Crystal this fast just makes it that much more so.
Okay. I think I've almost got this solved here.
Looks like we have Alexis heading through the Antlion Cave right now. Supremacy just picked up his Darkness Crystal. Aureliax and Zyrak are both doing the Bull Gauntlet.
Well, makes sense. Kane is not a character I ever pass up, but especially early on, you know, he is worth sitting through a tedious fight for.
Yeah, it looks like Aureliax is having some problems with this fight, but he was able to get through it with just Tella surviving in the end.
And that's fine, you know, Kane will get some XP later on, and Edward get Edward.
Yeah, not surprised that Edward would take a fall in really any fight, but if you get through it, you get through it. That's what's important.
Yep, and he certainly did. Oh, I see we've got an Ice Brand for Kane here, which is another fine option for him if you want to keep him a little more defensive, give him a shield.
Yeah, it's not a bad equip. It's definitely better than the default spear that he starts with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Baron's equipping their army with, but, you know, I don't know how they're doing this much damage to the world, because they're not giving them anything good.
They probably upgraded to better equipment once they booted Cecil and Kane out of their army.
Could be. I mean...
Well, Alexa's going out for offense against Dark Knight Cecil instead of tanking the 3 hits.
I mean, with Kane around, that's not a bad idea. I mean, he's not going to do anything, but you can certainly kill him faster. It's only got 1,000 hit points at that slot.
Yeah, and it worked out well for her.
Oh, yeah.
Now we have Supremacy fighting the Baron soldiers. Looks a lot like the Bull Gauntlet, but...
Yep,
we've got officers and soldiers instead of generals and fighters.
Yeah, but either way, the fight works pretty much the same way. You can squeeze out a little more experience points if you kill the officer first, but, you know, it's all good.
Looks like Alexa's the first one to cash in that Darkness Crystal heading to Mysidia.
Which means we are about to get our first look at who's on the moon.
It looks like Supremacy was rewarded with the Baron key for completing that fight in... You see, it was the Baron soldiers in the default Fabul place, so it's all... everything's all mixed up. I mean, that's what a randomizer is supposed to do.
I'm willing to call that French vanilla. It's the same general idea. But, yeah, the Baron key from that. Depending on how he's feeling about his party, he may just go for that right now. But he's heading straight south? No, we're checking Silvera first.
It's a town that's easy to overlook. There are a few easy-to-get chests, lots of shops. In these things, I can understand skipping it, especially if you've got the Darkness Crystal and the Crystal, but... Yeah, Echo Notes is the only item in that item shop. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but, you know, I've had to have the pass so often, like, it's...
Yeah.
You know, random's gonna random, but I swear I see that there almost as often as I see it vanilla.
Yeah, I think Silveria, Kaipo, and Agart are shops that are often easily forgotten.
Oh yeah, I've completely forgotten to hit Kaipo especially, because if you don't get that Sand Ruby, you're not gonna go there. Or a package, but then you'd have to cash in the package, and I don't know about anyone else, but I only do that when I'm thirsty and I need to get up and get a drink.
Looks like Alexa's visiting the Hummingway abode first. There is a shop here.
And oh yes, as Trenton says, yes, does remind us that yes, the pass, this is P1, which means the pass is in the key item pool. So, right now, hitting up any item shop, it's basically just a look for cures, for J items, all of that.
Yeah, still life potions would be a great find. We found some hourglasses there, which are a very useful item. Could be useful depending on what kind of grind they end up deciding to go for.
Yeah, but, you know, with the Telestart and an early Darkness Crystal, I think we're definitely going to see some D-Machines tonight.
That is... As long as they decide to complete Mount Ordeals and get the weak spell, we see Rydia.
Well, that's going to make Alexa very happy. That's her favorite character, so we're going to see if she tries to keep Rydia around the whole game.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point, since we have Kain, who I think is definitely worth keeping, and then the other characters that we've got are Edward and Tella, and we still have an empty spot, so I wouldn't be surprised if Rydia stays around the entire game with these ones, with this particular setup.
Yeah, I mean, we still have a character in Baron to get. Alexa's the only one on screen who hasn't done Fabul yet, but I imagine she'll be heading there very shortly.
And we have a twin. I forget which one. I believe it was a twin as the available character in Baron.
Well, either way, they're going to be valuable. Palom is, of course, an absolute poop wrecker of a character. He can Quake, he can Virus. It's all good. And of course, Porum's a white mage.
Yeah, we are lacking a white mage. That's really probably the class that they'd like the most.
Yeah. I recently was playing a scene where I had to do some ridiculous things without one, and I do not recommend that. You want a white mage if you're doing anything hard.
I mean, sometimes Yang can be a white mage if you've got like tier 3s, but no, you'd rather have a real white mage.
I mean, I've heard that there are people who like using Edward for that on Zero. Ooh. I understand the principle. I'm not sure I would want to try that.
He's so squishy.
Yeah, but apparently you can hide from the Big Bang. And that's a trick worth respecting. Whatever you think about Edward.
I suppose. Oh, Zyrak getting Bahamut with the Grimoire.
Oh, very nice. But unfortunately it comes up on the Dark Elf half of the fight, which means it's kind of... Oh! We're getting a Sylph now.
Wow. Sylph. In the vanilla game, that's absolutely my favorite summon.
Oh, you know what? It's even good here. I've seen I've seen it used to great effect, and Supremacy, down on the lower left, is at Mount Ordeals, facing off against Rubicant.
Yeah, looking to get Tella fully powered here.
Oh, we've got a potential hook seed here.
Yeah, we still do have the Baron key to use that could lead to a magma key, but right now all we've got is that hook. Although technically we don't need to go underground.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible. I could see people taking this party straight to zero if the Baron character is any good, but we've got most of the bad characters out of the way now, so could be.
I absolutely wouldn't be surprised if Supremacy is making the Mount Ordeals play here to get Tella powered up to do a grind and then go to Zeramus as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be a great play. If it pays off, it'll be a great play tonight. It'll probably still be a great play in the league proper. Down goes Rubicant with only Kane standing, but that's fine.
Zyrek has picked up the Mysidian Genius Palom from the Baron Inn, now in the party. Alexa is fighting in the Baron Inn now.
And Oralux off to go get Rydia, which we'll see what he thinks of that.
Looks like we have Ogopogo in the Mylon Z spot on Mount Ordeals.
Ooh. That's gonna be a bit of a pain to deal with there. Hopefully we can keep Kane out of the way of the worst of it, and keep him healed up. Because Ogopogo, of course, does respond to pretty much any magical damage with Flame or Blaze, is what it is, which is more percentile damage.
Meanwhile, Alexa in the Dark Elf fight made the heads-up play to switch Rydia's arrows from poison to mute, deal more against the Dark Elf, which is one of the many monsters classified as mage type.
Oh yeah, nice tactic there. This slot can be a little bit of a pain, and we're seeing her also use the Dancing Dagger on Edward, which that is probably something that she still has on her head. I know she's been playing a lot of Paladin percent, and of course Edward does a lot of work on that by using that same tactic.
It's definitely one of the ways to make him quite formidable in the early part of the game.
Yes, but of course he has to be alive for that to happen.
Yeah, and you have to find the Dancing Dagger, which I don't know if anyone else, I'm not seeing anyone else who's been using that tactic. I don't know if they have found it, or if they're not as familiar as Alexa might be with the Dancing Dagger strategy.
Yes, but you know what? It did its job, and that's not an XP bearing fight, so if he's down, he's down.
Sure. And then Zyrek is going through, looking to use that hook, is heading through the Eblin Cave now. There will be a character available here as well.
Yeah, probably just dipping for the character at this point, is my guess. And Supremacy reset out of the Ogopogo fight and went straight back in. And Couch with a very pertinent question, of course, who's winning? And indeed, Inveterable, it is the audience who is winning. Absolutely. Otherwise, you know, it's a little hard to call right now. Everybody has the same key items. I'm not seeing a super clear advantage as yet. I think if there's anything, Supremacy might be pulling ahead if he can get through Ogopogo. But
yeah, if Supremacy's play and here through Mount Ordeals pays off, and he's able to defeat Ogopogo, then I think that's going to put him in a pretty good spot. It's still going to be tough though, because This is not an easy fight. As I say that, he defeats Ogopogo. So what do I know?
Well, Titan off a Grimoire, it's not Quake, but it'll do.
Yeah, that's a pretty good roll. That is definitely not a Chocobo.
And Rydia gets her first levels.
Zyrek did
he's...
have to do a reset in the Evelyn Cave. Found the double Staleman fight and was a little unprepared for that one. So going through again, probably just avoiding that chest overall. Gonna get that character, and then I'm guessing we'll probably exit out and check some other areas, but we'll see.
We do have a silver apple there. That will help if he does pick up Rydia, and because she needs all the hit points that she can get.
Well, we've got Rydia, we've got Palom, we've got Tella, we've got Edward. We've got a lot of people who could use an apple.
Oh, Palom's got plenty of hit points. Edward's got an Edward. And it's Dark Knight Cecil over in Eblin. What are you doing over here? You're gonna die.
I got a little bit more incentive to complete the Mount Ordeals bosses with that.
Maybe, but it is T3, and this was a very jetty T3 of the setup. I like Cecil. I use Cecil a lot. I probably wouldn't keep him on this.
Well, I'd probably keep him until I found another character.
That's true, but and you know what? With Edward, even Edward's a higher priority to go than Cecil, I think. So this will be very interesting now to see what Supremacy does next. He is out of Mount Ordeals, while Zyrak picks up a samurai armor out of the Chocobo forest near Mount Ordeals and climbs the mountain himself.
I was kind of expecting that was going to be used for a white Chocobo MP heal, but
yeah,
getting
that's
the treasure instead.
Yeah, you don't see that every day.
Samurai armor is a pretty decent physical armor, but probably better used to sell for money.
Yeah, I mean, it'll do. And yes, looks like Supremacy is off to deal with the Baron Key, fill out his party. And, of course, he's gonna rob these fine shopkeepers who've been locked in their shops under the tyranny of Baron.
That is always one of the more bizarre things in the town of Baron, that the shopkeepers are behind the locked door. And they're still willing to do business as soon as you unlock it. Instead of just saying, oh, I'm finally free.
Well, maybe it's far more of a dystopia than any of us realized.
Supremacy finding a Soma drop in the Baron sewers. If he uses that on Tella, Tella could actually cast Meteor.
Could, but would? Probably not.
Yeah. Got a couple people in that Rubicon spot. That is not an easy gauntlet of fights with Rubicon and Ogopogo in order to get through ordeals there.
That's true. I don't actually mind Rubicon here, though, if only because the magic on this slot, as we'll see from the damage numbers, the glares are still enough to one-shot, but otherwise, he's not going to hurt nearly as bad as he could elsewhere.
That's definitely true. Looks like Aureliax is also following the same route as Supremacy, heading through the Baron sewers. Oh, there was the Chocobo, but that wasn't the Grimoire, that was just Rydia casting Chocobo there.
Oh, that's a low-level Rydia for you.
Yeah.
And Supremacy does give the old man the power that he has always desired.
I don't know, in storyline it killed him.
Yes, because he didn't have a Soma drop.
Ah, that's the key. If he had the Soma drop, then he would have survived it.
Yeah, remember, kids, be careful. If you go over your MP, you could die.
I'll have to keep that in mind the next time I'm casting spells.
Meanwhile, the captain of the guard is a giant sentient evil wall, and somehow nobody noticed. And Supremacy's party is still set backwards from the Ogopogo fight. Not that I've ever done a thing like that. No, no, no. And we've got Ogopogo on 2 screens here from both Alexa and Zyrak. Alexa looks to be struggling a little bit, but we'll see if she can pull it off.
And Wall also seems to be giving Supremacy some trouble, but
Yeah,
he can jump.
Indeed he can. If it'll save him, and if it'll save the party, that remains to be seen.
And it worked, because then the Wall had no one to fight, so it fought itself, defeating itself.
Of course.
Sort of the same principle that some people use by using Edward to hide during the fight.
And of course, Edward could very well have done that here, but no respect for him. And Alexa is now through Ogopogo, while Zyrak goes into Kainazo, which is honestly a very good fight to see there. That's a very easy place to fight any boss, and Kainazo, when he's hard, he's very, very hard.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And the King of Baron was a water hag all along!
And we get all 3 of the Anna-based characters, Anna, Tella, and Edward, all in the same fight.
Oh, it's so sad. Edward, play Cry and Sorrow. And down goes the poor water hag who really only wanted to improve living conditions for hags all across Baron.
By locking up shopkeepers.
Those shopkeepers were distributing anti-hag propaganda.
I believe that's canon.
Yes.
So let's see, Supremacy is going to get a character here. Looks like it's going to be Sid. Sid's not a bad character at all.
Yeah, especially for Supremacy, who doesn't have Cecil, that gives Sid the chance to live up to his ultimate dream of being a boat anchor.
And then we'll see if this item that Supremacy is going to get is going to be progression or not, whether or not we have a hook seed or a progression that leads us somewhere else, possibly to the Magna Key.
And Rydia climbs down the long stairs to find a sand ruby, which is very nice to see here.
Yeah, Edge is available. But it does make this a hook seed.
Yes, it does, but you know what? At this point, I would not be surprised to see Supremacy just pick up Edge and go for it.
I agree. I can imagine Supremacy ditching Edward, picking up Edge, grinding on D machines, and then heading to Zeramus. Though the healing is going to be quite poor, so he might have to level up quite a bit in order to do this.
Fortunately, that is one advantage of using Sid. We can level him quite a lot, and his agility is gonna be very safe.
And he's got quite a good HP progression. There are Ether 2s available for sale in Kaipo. That could help, because if you're going to be relying on Tella as a healer, you might need to be refilling his MP quite a bit.
Yes, and two, especially if we're using him to for the D-Machine grind, he's gonna want those ethers just to keep the dragons coming. Or going, as it were. And Aureliux is also on his way to go ditch Edward and pick up Edward Geraldine.
The more superior Edward.
I mean, I don't blame him for using a nickname. And Supremacy going back to Baron, probably for the Baron in. My guess is to cash out Rydia and pick up Palom, which is probably what I would want to be doing right now.
I agree, that seems like a smart play here.
I mean, I love Rydia, but especially on the T3, and especially with this key item distribution, you know, Palom is the better choice.
I would agree with you there.
Alexa facing off against this guard wall of sorts. And so is Zyrak. What's very interesting so far is that Alexa and Zyrak have basically been keeping a pace with each other for a lot of the game here, and that's kind of interesting to see.
I'm curious to see if any of our featured runners are going to make the decision to go to the Underworld.
Yeah, I mean, we know that a lot of the potentially nasty bosses that could be gatekeeping the Underworld are out of the pool. There's no Kanatsu, there's no Rubicant. Both of those can be pretty bad.
Yeah, but there's still a number of them that could be tough. Ashura would be tough. Valvolus would be tough. Golbez is always a tough one.
Yes, Golbez, I think, will not be on the way. We are still on B1, which means Golbez cannot be blocking the way underground. But Ashura, of course, is one of the worst things you can run into in Upper Babil. Valvolus is usually nasty, but we can defang her a little. Everybody does still have Kane, of course.
We did see who was in the Rubicon spot. I don't remember who it was, though.
Yes. And I don't think we're going to see it again at this point. Answering Trenton in chat, no one's checked out Odin as yet.
Although Alexa might be going there. Heading in that direction.
Could just be looting. Yes, she's just looting there.
Okay. But I guess that is a potential place for the Magma Key as well.
Yes, if it is the Mist Dragon, but at that point, I would probably just go for the hook. I mean, Tella has Blink, he can make it work, but... And
Tella also has the level 3 elemental spells that can sometimes help in a spot like that as well.
It certainly can.
Depending on the boss, of course.
Yes. And it does look like Supremacy is going underground instead of just going for the dream, but I can't really blame him.
Might be hoping that there's a white mage right here in the free character spot. It's like also going to check the item shop.
Yes. And of course, we do have a reminder that it is K2, and it could just be a regular old key item. Because honestly, it looks like all of the key item spots that we've checked so far have still had key items, so we haven't seen anything displaced as yet.
I think you're right.
So as K2 goes, this is really unusual. Yeah, that's right. Nobody's found Cure 3, which I think is the big thing that would also make, that would make Zero, a lot more doable on this party. And down goes the poor Waterhead for Alexa. And she'll be rewarded with Sid, who, you know what? We'll see if she takes him. Yeah. I personally tend to feel like he's mutually exclusive with Cecil, but on these flags, I might not want to keep Cecil. And she is thinking about it, looks like. And he goes.
There goes Sid.
And Aurelius up in Ordeals, taking down Kainatsu.
Supremacy entering the Ebon Cave later means that that fight with the two Stalemen was not nearly as difficult as, for example, when Zyrak went there very early.
Yes, and always a good idea, I feel like, to hit that chest on the way down to a hook seed, because...
Was that a ribbon that I saw?
I think I missed it. But, I'm sure we'll see next time Supremacy adjusts his... Oh, he's noping out.
Oh, no, going for a save, maybe. We'll see. I think that save means that Supremacy is going to go into the tower.
Yes, does look like it.
And that could be confirmed. It looks like one of the Mylons is going to be in the Rubicon spot.
That's not terrible. Actually, you know what? If it's vanilla original flavor Rubicant, that's actually really good. Because his lits are going to do basically nothing.
Yeah, that's usually a free fight with the Mylon versus instead of Mylon Z. Mylon Z can be tough in some spots, and I think this Rubicon spot might be a tougher one. But we do have Blink, and most of Mylon's really scary attacks are physical.
Yeah, I think he's one of those bosses who actually pretty much only hits physically, so Blink can do a lot of work in that fight.
I believe there is like one cursed elegy sort of attack that rarely comes into play, but everything that's scary is definitely physical.
Oh yeah, and yet that's not a common one.
No. That one of the 3 enemies in the game that can give you the cursed status Better keep those crosses.
I don't even know what curse does to you.
I've never figured it out. It makes your character get on their knees and have a little skull float over their head for the duration of the fight, and then you win the fight and it goes away. That's what I figure.
Yeah, something like that. Depending on the status hierarchy, it may prevent you from some other worse status, but who knows?
That's true. The status hierarchy in this game is a really bizarre feature of this game.
And looks like I missed Alexa going for Edge, but looking at the chat, I'm guessing that she did drop Rydia, because of course she loves Rydia, but you know, she's a good enough player that she knows when it's not the call to make to keep her. And of course, taking the Mad Ogre fight's another great XP fight before hitting up the boss. Because while we know that there's a 50-50 chance the Rubicant spot is not going to be any trouble, the King and Queen Evelyn spot can still be kind of rough. Yeah,
that's a spot that in the vanilla game is maybe the easiest fight in the whole game. But in this, if it's a physical base boss, it's surprisingly tough.
Zyrak is pulling the Lunar Hairdryer chest fight, which is an interesting play. Will give some XP, certainly.
I was able to get those hourglasses off. That'll make it a lot easier to beat this fight.
Oh yes, and you know, there are very few problems in terms of regular fights anyway that can't be solved with hourglasses.
Absolutely.
And Alexa is going to the giant.
Alexa probably looking to grind with that.
Yeah,
happy with her party.
Makes sense. If she feels confident in being able to heal through the fight, you know, this will be interesting to see how it goes, especially what she does afterwards.
Aureliax is going through Evelyn Castle.
Doesn't seem to remember where the... There, he found it.
Looks like that's Leviathan in the King Queen Evelyn spot.
That's not terrible.
Yeah, the Ice 2s that Leviathan cast shouldn't be too powerful at this spot.
Oh, Alexa's grabbing chests. She might be looking for the trap chest here.
Or maybe not, just skip that last chest.
Maybe not wanting to run into that. And of course, chat comes through with saying that curse status is... They think... They're not sure, but they think it lowers your stats. Down goes Leviathan. So we'll see which form of Mylon this is.
Also, good on Alexa. She didn't make the mistake that I almost always make, which is forget to turn on random encounters. We're looking for the grind fight.
Oh yes, that is...
That's a mistake that I've made almost every time I've done this grind.
You know, it's not the worst mistake you can make, which is, of course, forget to turn them off afterwards. And it is Mylan Zed at Rubicant, so... Oh, he's just hitting for nothing. This is what we like to call a giddy. Well, not nothing, but
well,
not
hitting
much.
Callum for nothing. I think Callum might have had, like, I believe we saw a ribbon that might be helping Palom out there.
Yeah, that'll do it, but even so, he's hitting the frontliners for about 400. Even Tella can heal through that with very little issue. And Aurelius pulling the Mad Ogres in Eblan Castle. Very nice XP on those big blue boys. No, that's not the right D machine at all! And she resets out of that unfortunate encounter. And Zyrak, of course, dealing with the hardest boss in the game, the inventory boss.
Yeah, that is definitely a tough one to overcome. Learning how to evaluate your equipment and other items in your inventory very quickly is definitely a way to really improve your times on this game. Getting through that, because your inventory gets clogged up. Like, it looks like you've got a lot of room, but especially when we've got those J items, that adds a lot of different items that could be found. Plus, there's just tons of different equipment. It fills up very fast. Not Final Fantasy 1 fast with the equipment, but still very fast.
Yeah, inventory management is a skill, and it's a skill that, it's not easy for, I think, a majority of players. Meanwhile, Supremacy has gotten through Mylan, and he's treating us to a dancing screen.
Good old poison status. Okay, let's see if Alexa's got the right fight here.
My guess is that she has. Of course, it's perfectly possible to reliably get this fight if you can read that very odd chart. The community has certainly made resources to make that chart intelligible to people who aren't wizards.
Yeah, without any... Like, if you just look at the chart on itself, it doesn't make any sense. But once you learn what the chart means, it's pretty easy to follow.
I still end up always losing count, but that's my own problem, and it's not the charts.
Yeah, that's a different thing than the chart itself.
Cure 2's in Dwarf Castle. Not quite enough for what we're gonna need. A lunar boss in Dwarf Castle.
Alright, and... Ooh, it was the Horseman, not the D-Machine.
Oh no.
Or Alexa.
Oh, maybe this one will be it. Oh, it's Plague! This one is always a bit of a pain to deal with here. But it looks like Supremacy's got this under control. But Tella taking a brief nap, he'll be back up right now.
That's going to confuse Plague. Not all of the enemies are under the count status anymore.
And, oh, just in time. Plague fixes that. I mean, people might have died out of sync. That wouldn't be right.
Yeah, it only works if everyone dies at the same time. That's what Plague does.
Yeah, I mean, we can't have people dying at the wrong times. And poor Kane, he missed the cast, so... Well... Having 2 people down will actually help with the insurance, so... Ooh, down to 0. Come on. Oh!
Nice.
Very tight timing on that. I'm gonna call that lucky, because if things had happened, you know, an ATB tick later, that could have gone very badly.
Oh, Alexa gets the horseman fight again.
Oh no. Maybe this one. Oh, it's Uncle Mop! Goodbye, Uncle Broom.
I would imagine Lucio would satisfy the white mage need that Supremacy was probably looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you have to work a little harder to have him be your soul healer, but only a little bit harder. It's perfectly doable with him. And Supremacy's a good enough player that I'm sure he can manage that.
And Fusia joins at full power, so...
Very nice. I don't imagine Supremacy is going to be messing around very much from here. He's probably very much about to join Alexa in the Giant.
We'll see. He also has access to the Luca keys, so could choose to grind against trapdoors as well.
He could, but I don't think so. Trapdoors are not really worth it, unless you've got the XP doubling from having 10 key items, which we certainly don't right now.
Also could decide to grind on the move.
That's true. Or
Alexa finally finding those D-machines.
Hooray! Oh, and it's a Dragoon Sphere, so... You know what? I would probably, at this point, I might go check Tomra, check the Land of Sevens, see if I can get me some sirens in a shop.
And looks like Supremacy might be thinking just that. That's right to Tomra.
But the inventory boss strikes again.
As it so often does in this game.
Zyrak dealing with some Mylon a little. Cecil does seem to be struggling a little, but should pull through. Oh, there's Cure 3s.
That's pretty nice.
And that certainly having a stash of Cure 3s will solve any lingering concerns anyone might have about Fusoya as a soul healer there.
Mm-hmm.
And here's our last item shop in the game, coming up right away.
Luck's able to get a double life on the last D-machine just defeated. That's taking advantage of what's kind of referred to as the Vitality Zero glitch. When you kill an enemy, all the enemies in the game have a vitality stat of 0. So if you use a restorative item, like either a life 1 spell or a life 1 or a life potion, the amount of hit points, whatever is being revived, is based on their vitality stat. Since the vitality is 0, they're revived with 0 HP, which means you just get an extra kill and double the experience, or if you're able to get 2 of them in, triple the experience, making this way worth it.
Yeah, and you know what? It's very easy to consistently get off 1 life potion on any given boss, but 2 is the timing's a lot tighter, so that's really nice to see.
Yeah, getting a double is very nice.
And there are no sirens in the Land of Summon Monsters, but there's something else that's very nice. We've got Bacchus Wine, a drink of champions. Zyrak has gotten through Mylon Zed, and he is rewarded with a spiffy airship with a hook. Not with a hook, a drill. We already have an airship with a hook.
The Falcon.
I don't know what it is with modes of conveyance named Falcon. There are like 4 or 5 of them in various JRPGs of the era. And supremacy on the wheel. Are we going to the giant or are we going to the moon? We're going to the giant.
Alexa had run into a little bit of problems. Did not have enough MP for a week, and the fires really did a number on the party, but she was able to recover, which is what's most important.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes sometimes. It is one of the things that does scare people off about the D-Machine grind sometimes, because if it goes wrong, it can go very, very wrong. But she is finishing the fight, taking her 398,000 experience.
Not quite enough for Palom to learn Nuke. We'll see if Alexa's happy with these levels, or if she wants to do another grind.
I would do another one at those levels. She's only level 42 or so. It's possible. Yeah.
I agree. I think another grind seems prudent, especially since she doesn't have a dedicated white mage like Supremacy will have.
Yeah. Certainly you can do 0 at some impressively low levels. I would not with that party. And, oh, was Supremacy lucky? Did he get the right fight right off the hop? We are about to see.
If he does, then I think Alexa would be jealous. Because of the troubles that she's had finding that D-Machine fight.
Oh yeah, that's, Ooh, going for a Quake to start. That, that can be a bit of an issue depending on, but no, looks like it should work out.
If I have access to Quake, that's how I like to open fights.
Yeah, I admit, I am not nearly as comfortable with the D-Machine grind as I am with other methods of grinding, so, I do like to play it safe.
I will note it looks like we just got a result. We have Penguinator finished in first place with a time of 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 31 seconds. So, congrats to Penguinator.
GG to Penguin Hitter. I imagine that, he pulled off, some very similar plays to what we're seeing here, because, this seed has been clamoring for what we're seeing right now on the left half of our screen.
Yeah, I agree. I think, it was. I think it could be argued that it would be worth the gamble to go to the grind early in the seed.
Yeah. Even for as much as finding the encounter has been giving Alexa a lot of grief so far, it's she's still certainly well ahead of the pack. And Zyrak is on Plague right now.
Mm-hmm. Reliax just defeated Mylon Z, so it's going to be heading underground.
Yes, and that was very tight.
Just barely.
Yeah. But you know what? Callum's a resilient kid. I'm sure he can manage that, no problem at all.
Lucidian genius.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he does break out the heal potion, decides to not bless us with a disco screen. And Zyrak is rewarded with his straight upgrade on Tella.
I don't know. I wouldn't say a straight upgrade. I mean, Tella does have the better pink robe.
That's true. That's true. I should not be making that sort of assumption. And I mean, we know Fusoya didn't have kids, as far as we know. Maybe there's a reason for that. But either way, our dear Uncle Mop has joined the party. And Aureliux is about to go see the same thing, I think, after this little nap in Tomra. Or maybe he'll hit the land of summon monsters first, which, is certainly a very reasonable thing to do, right when you get underground. He won't get anything out of it, but he'll get some wine.
Very useful wine.
Yes. You know what? It's delicious, it's refreshing, it's burst energy drink. When something absolutely has to be dead, reach for an icy cold can of Bursk.
Just puts the fever in your veins. Looks like Zyrak had found at least one siren, so cashing that in against Egg.
Yes, I
think... see sirens in any shops, did we?
No, I think there was one loose in a chest. I did see one in Supremacy's inventory as well. You know what? It's a free 32k. Even if you're not going to get the whole lot out of it, take the free experience points.
Sure.
And Zyrak is entering the sealed cave. He might be thinking the door grind here. I I actually like door grind a fair bit, but again, I'm not as comfortable with the D machines, and it's generally easier. However, without 10 key items, I would go so far as to say this is never gonna be worth it.
Well, I wouldn't. Well, you might be right. I think because I know that there were hourglasses available in shops, and that makes me think that grinding on the moon might be a better choice.
Yeah.
Like finding warlocks and carries.
Yeah, those I think would be a much better investment of the time, just because a full set of doors at 10 key items, that'll give you all the experience you need for the game. Without the XP doubling, you're gonna be coming up short. And Supremacy looks like he is ready to take this thing to 0.
The one thing that might be different, and they might be able to get enough, or Zyrek might be able to get enough experience out of this, is that their healer is going to be Fusia, who already has enough HP and the spells that he needs. So he only needs to be grinding up the other characters, and Palom can be inconsequential. The 3 physical fighters just need to be able to survive some big bangs, and then you'd probably be good. So this might end up working out.
That's true. It's definitely a possibility. It's not the play I would make, but that does make sense.
Yeah, if he was relying on the white mage, then I think I'd be fully in agreement with you. But in this situation, when he's going with Fusia, then this might still be good enough.
That's true.
It also depends on how comfortable Zyrek is with a lower level Zermus fight as well. So we'll see there.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're going with heavy Berserk strats, as we're likely to see here with a party like this, you know, it is pretty likely that the fight is not going to give that much trouble. And as we approach Zeromus, I think now is the perfect time to shout out to our wonderful tracker, Shallow Kitty, who is also, you know, the big artist as well that we have working on this mod. And just last week, I think, just last week, she an update was released for Free Enterprise that increased the number of available Zeromus sprites enabled by the Z flag by, I think the number is 186. So there is a huge number of possibilities that Zero could be showing up as tonight. And we're about to see who it is today, and I'm hoping for something new. I'm hoping for something cool. And yeah, we are now up to over 250 total possible Zero sprites in this game. And Alexa's done, and she's hitting in too.
Yeah, Scarlet Kitty is really one of the pillars of this community, I'd say. I'd also mention at this point, these are 4 great runners that we're watching entertain us. If you've got the opportunity, give all of them a follow. Alexa Lefay, Aurelia, Supremacy, and Zyrek.
Yeah, all great people, all great watches. Very worth your follow and your time.
And now, since I'm an American, I'll say that I'm getting excited for seeing what the Z flag will give us today.
See, I am very excited about the Z flag.
I don't even know what that flag does.
do we have tonight? Oh! It's Jack Frost! And looking at that sprite, that looks like that is coming from one of the Persona 2s.
Well, I'm glad you recognize it, because that's not one that I'm familiar with. So, thank you, Nia.
As this fight, we see the early stages of it going through fairly ordinary progression. Jack Frost was, for a long time, the mascot of Atlas. He's in a lot of their, Shin Megami Tensei and the related spin-off family. And he's very cute.
Looks like Alexa dipped in to fight another lunar boss, or a boss in a lunar spot. It's actually Dr. Luge that she's fighting, but
Not a bad idea. It'll give her a little bit more of an XP buffer. And honestly, these guys are gonna be safer than trying to wrangle, D-Machines. And, oh, I'm hee-hoing in the wrong neighborhood for the source of that sprite. Of course, I don't have a great look right now, so...
well, like I said, I'm not familiar.
Oh no, I was right, yes!
And then I'll give you even more credit, Neon. Very good job.
Persona 2's a game I sunk a lot of time into, so, I recognize their sprites very well. And there's our Big Bang taking down Pelham. But I don't see Supremacy resurrecting him here.
I don't think that's going to be a priority. If the timing of the black holes and everything allows it, then possibly, but not a priority.
Yeah, no, I mean, all of these characters are fully capable of taking an unnerfed Big Bang. Pelham can't. It's time to just let the boys go while Uncle Mop just sits there with the prompt up, waiting for heals. Penguinator in chat asking where Edge and Mop were. Edge was in Sand Ruby, and Fusoya was in Dwarf Castle.
And getting to the Dwarf Castle required going through Upper Babel with a hook seed.
And yes, Pelham is best boy. He's done a lot of work for us this seed. It's time for him to take a little nap, get some rest.
Yeah, and he always just gets hit on the head by his sister.
Yeah, I mean, she's a very violent girl for a white mage.
Penguin asking where the Sand Ruby was. I believe it was at the bottom of Baron Castle.
I believe so, yes. There's a black hole, so we're going to be opening some fresh cans of Bursk. Alexa's still pulling some lunar spot bosses for their sweet, sweet experience points.
And a really X-fighting plague to get Fusia.
And he's likely to have a slightly easier time than the others because he did Alright, was he the one who took the siren?
I believe both Zyrek and Aureliax use the siren.
Okay, then yes, he is gonna have a slightly easier time.
And we have a second place finisher. Elmagus has finished in second place with a time of 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 44 seconds. So GG's to Elmagus.
Yes, GG Elmagus. Always showing us how it's done. And we've entered Medio phase for Supremacy, so Jack Frost here is giving us some hee-hoing fireworks.
Yeah, that usually signals the end. Lucia throws a nuke, and that does it.
Yes,
finishing in third place in this race tonight, with a time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 8 seconds. Hot on his heels is Night Dew, finishing at 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 32 seconds.
so GG to both Supremacy and Night Dew. We'll see if we can get Supremacy in here to have a talk about what I think was a very interesting seed all around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Discord somewhere.
That's Alexa rearranging some magic on Tella. I believe that means she's ready to head down and fight Zeramus.
Still, yes, there she goes. Heading all oh, she's gonna take one more of these bosses.
Hello?
Hi, Supremacy.
Hi,
Howdy.
GG to you.
Thank you very much.
Nicely raced.
I thought I made some really poor decisions, but it turns out I was wrong, and they were good decisions.
So, tell me about what you think.
So I'm really glad that I decided to actually try and find a white mage. I think that Penguin probably went with Tella, since he finished first.
Yes, he did, yeah.
Kind of a mile, so...
Yeah, Penguin didn't get... It sounds like Penguin didn't get either Fusia or Edge.
I mean, that was kind of as jetty as you can get with, hey, you start with the Crystal, and Antlion's got basically your go mode.
Yeah, I was wondering who was going to head up to the first.
But then, of course, you only start with Tella and Edward, so kind of difficult. I feel like... I mean, I went Ordealed just so that I would be able to do D-Machine with Tella if worse came to worse. And I just kept getting characters to try and get a white mage that could actually heal through the fight. Because at the time I hadn't found any Cure 3s, so... If I had known where Cure 3s were before I had picked up Fu, I might have been able to just D-Machine with Tella and have Sid just heal bot with Cure 3s.
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, you know, you would have been underground anyway, and Fu was right there.
Yeah, I got really scared seeing two moon bosses there, because I really was afraid that it would be a wyvern and just one-shot me.
Yeah, but no, that, going for Dwarf first, that really paid off for you.
Yeah, full power Fu right off the gate after finishing that was definitely like, okay, I'm basically in go mode now. I don't think I really need anything else. Let's try to find sirens to see if it's easier now, but the Dragoon Spear actually pushed me towards finding a little bit more, finding sirens more, because that means I could have just one-shot eggs all day.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were thinking.
Absolutely. But it looked like the D-Machine grind went pretty smooth for you as well.
I got a lot more 2-life potions off than I thought I was going to get. I slightly miscounted. I probably needed to do like 2 or 3 more, because I actually did want to get 52 on a Palom to get Nuke, but after I came out and saw everyone level 50, I was like, it's alright, he can floor tank, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, he did a good job through the rest of the game. He earned his nap.
Well, I mean, he cast Quake once on the D-Lunars, that's about all he did.
You know what? That's a fine job right there.
Probably more than Edward would have done.
Maybe. I mean, I did have the Artemis arrows, but no Artemis bow.
Right.
But Edward did enough work early on doing 400 or 500 with those Artemis arrows, so...
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, and you found those on Mount Hobbs, I think, right?
I believe so, yes. Feel like whenever you start with Tella, it's worth it to check those places, because you can always just exit out.
Yeah, we saw some people going into some places to look for treasure a little bit more unorthodox than normal. I think having Tella with exit right at the beginning of the gate allows for that.
Yeah.
All right, do you have any final thoughts about this seed?
Only that it's not a very good practice seed for K2 when you you get Go mode from K1 start and K1 basically the first boss anyone usually checks.
All right, so we'll mark this down as not practice.
I mean, it's practice for Go mode. It's definitely a practice Go mode seed. So
You got to practice your D machine grind.
I think this is either the first or second time I've actually done D machine in a race. So yeah, definitely some practice.
You know what? I would not have known that watching you do it. That went off as smooth as I've seen any D machine grind go.
Well, I'm glad I could put on a show, and hopefully that teaches people how to do it then, if I did it right.
Well, hey, that's a grind that I think the more help anyone can get, the better.
Fair enough.
All right, well, thank you for joining us today, and very good job on your race tonight, Supremacy.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you all for commentating.
Oh, you're welcome. Take care.
Thank you.
Yep, have a good evening.
You too. Meanwhile,
Alright.
Alexa is now entering the Zeromus fight, and we're about to see Jack Frost yet again.
Yeah, this one is going to be a little bit more difficult with Tella being the main healer. But it looks like Alexa was able to get Tella up to 1100 HP, which is pretty beefy for the old Sage.
Yeah, this is going to be a thing to watch, because this is not going to be easy here.
Looks like she did level enough to get Palin to nuke. So going to be working with, trying to work with nerfed Big Bangs. If you can get a spell in between the time where Zermus shakes and Zermus casts Big Bang, he'll counter with nuke, and then the amount of damage that Big Bang does is a lot lower than normal.
It is, but it's also a bit risky with this particular party, because it does mean that if that counter nuke ends up hitting Tella, that's your only healer who's down. You gotta bring him back up. And it looks like she is going with throwing... Oh, she's resetting right out of that.
Yeah, that second shake came before she was ready to nerf it. Oh, and she's exiting out. Maybe going to go back, either look for another character or grind more on D machines. We'll see what happens next. Oh, and she is heading back to the blue planet, so it looks like she's going to look for a white mage.
Ooh. That is a rough time to be running into that wall, because that's not when you want to be realizing, oh crap, this party can't take this.
Okay, I'm gonna... Looks like we got a 5th place finisher. Kobahi finished in 5th place with a time of 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 44 seconds.
And yep, still no more. We are seeing a couple people noping out, which, you know, fair enough. But this, for all that this is a very jetty seed so far, it is very much testing skills.
Yeah, this
like to heal up before fighting the boss.
Yeah, really acts in a rough spot here. But yeah, this is one of the deceptively difficult seeds, where you're given everything that you need to beat the game at the beginning, but that party, you don't have the right party, it can still be a very difficult fight. What I try to preach is that Zeramus is no joke. Zeramus is a very tough final boss.
Yeah, I mean, these earlier Final Fantasies where the bosses are basically simpler, with the less elaborate scripts, they can be a lot harder than a boss that is pulling a lot of different tricks, because you know what's coming, sure, but you gotta deal with what's coming, and it keeps hitting you.
Yeah, and Zeramus is one of those final bosses where it's like, if the wrong person goes down in your party, it just spirals and it becomes harder and harder to come back the longer it takes.
Yeah, and honestly, there's a point where knowing when to reset out is the most important thing you can know in a fight.
Well, we do have Zyrak in the Zeramus fight now, so we'll see how this goes for him.
Yes, I imagine he's gonna have an easier time than Alexa was, just because he does have our friendly mop.
He is going at a pretty low level, though.
Yeah, that
is under 2,000 HP, so he's still going to be walking a tight wire on this fight.
Yeah, this should be interesting. I've seen some low-level Zed, but this is pretty low. And yeah, like, even the damage is only a little over 2k in that range there. That's gonna make the fight take longer. They're gonna have to hold out longer at this much lower hit point level.
That was a risky use of the life potion to Zeramus Shuck right after that happened. Like,
yeah, gee, I
was not able to nerf this big bang. Let's see what happens. Hopefully Fusia and Edge survive this. Now, Fusia did, but Edge goes down. He might be able to finish this fight with just Fusia, Cecil, and Kane, if he just holds back Fusia for healing.
Yeah, like, I've certainly done this fight with 3. It's very doable. You need to be really good at managing your magic defense, your magic of aid for that, to really work reliably. And Nightdew in chat is asking, who jumped into Eblan Castle? I believe that was just Aurelius, who is now in the Giant.
Aurelius is the only one that I saw jump into that castle.
And honestly, you know, I'm personally big into hitting up the castle when I'm heading down for a hook, but I don't really know that it was all that necessary on this. Here's another big bang on Zyrak. Let's see what happens.
Oof.
Oh,
Uncle Mop goes down.
But he was expecting it. Edge got a life off.
And there's the reset.
Oh, and we're getting a light show tonight. Oh, that was a crystal sword in the Eblan Castle. Which would have been very helpful if Aurelius had Cecil.
Yeah. Aureliax fighting the last arm fight, not one that you see too often.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some XP, and of course the trap chests do give some good items on the lower T level. But
not this time. Ooh, just a rod.
You know, I've been watching a lot of FF1 lately, and, you know, there are times when you really want to see a rod in the chest. But we're not playing FF1. We're playing Final Fantasy IV.
Yeah, rod is quite a bit better in Final Fantasy 1 than in Final Fantasy 4.
Ooh, he's taking the Elements boss. That's interesting.
Well, it looks like he's going to fight Calbrain. That seems like it could be a tough fight there. We'll see.
Yeah, I am not sure how that will go. Meanwhile, Alexa has made her way to the underground. Hopefully that will get her to her friendly neighborhood mop. And she'll be back on track.
Yeah, it looks like we got some more forfeits, so yeah, this looks like it's been a pretty tough seed for the people, like, deceptively tough, because, as we said, we were in go mode almost immediately.
Yeah, but, you know, having to make do without a proper white mage is very much a skill, and it's, as we can see on our first go-round with these flags, for those racers who are hoping to make headway in the round of 32 in the league, it's a skill that people are gonna need.
This is tough. I'm trying to pay attention to both Zyrax and Aureliax's fight, because both of them are very interesting right now.
Yeah, doing the multi-target spells might not be the greatest idea, because as we can see, the Cals have more hit points than the Brainas. We're probably about to see a merger right away, because I don't think he's used an hourglass to stop them.
And even Nuke still isn't enough, because this is in the place of the Elements fight. So there's a lot of HP going around, and a lot of it is focused on those Cals. And I don't know if Aureliax is going to be able to do enough damage to Calbraina before it splits up again.
Yeah, like, there are, you know, like, this is one of the highest hit point spots in the game.
Second only to Zeramus, I think, right?
I think so, because it does do a similar trick as Zero, which is, at least in vanilla, where it will do the refresher of hit points as they change, as they rotate through. This is not a friendly slot, and this is not, I think, a boss you'd want to see there, and it's not one you'd think about that you wouldn't want to see.
It looks like we do have Unos finishing in 6th place with a time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 21 seconds, so GG's to Unos.
GG Unos. It's very interesting, too, how spaced out a lot of these finishes are. Aside from a couple close finishes, like, people are coming in at pretty different times, and normally you see a lot of close clusters, as, you know, everybody who makes similar routing decisions end up finishing around the same time.
I think that goes to show just how difficult this scene really was.
Yeah, and, you know, for people who have been cranking out all their time on the qualifier flags, you know what, these flags are going to be a really rude awakening.
Yeah, especially a rude awakening, because these are the flags that will be used in the round of 32.
Yeah, and, you know, you're going to get far worse situations than you're going to see on the qualifiers. you're gonna have to do hard fights without healers. You're gonna have to pull out a zero to find yourself a buff. And Alexa on the D-Lunars now. Hopefully that will put her back into go mode.
Yeah, since Alexa's already done the grind, these bosses should not pose any threat to her.
Yeah. Zyrex
Although
seems to be pulling
nuking-
through a bit further. Ooh!
Nuking there might not have been the right choice.
No. But, she was ready for it.
Yeah. Alright, now the Lunars are down. Lucia in the party, and I imagine Alexa's gonna head right back to the moon here.
Yeah, like, I cannot imagine a better thing for her to have found here. Like, you know, you spend a race like this wanting Rosa, begging for Rosa, wishing for Rosa, but, you know what, when you're this established, you know, you get yourself a fully powered foe ready to go. You know what, you're gonna take him and run. Oh.
That was a rough big bang. Took down Kane for Zyrex there. Using a Silk Web and not a heal.
Oh. And I think Cecil and Edge are still berserked, so... Oh, there's a lucky black hole. One free hit queued up, 2 free hits queued up. Come on. Oh no. Got the nuke cycle. Okay. Cecil's got the life. This may be salvageable.
Yeah, now we just need food to do a Cure 4.
Which thankfully has delay 0 with queuing aside, an immediate cast time. And he's up just in time for 0 to queue the, a Silk Web? I'm not sure I would have done that, then.
Yeah, that counter nuke is really going to be rough with only 2 characters left.
Yeah, like, Cecil's got the hit points. He can take a big bang on the chin.
Oh, did he parry with Lucia?
Why? No! Stop nerfing! You're gonna die doing that! Oh, and Alexa's going back? Oh no, she just left our whale park there. Oh boy, no.
Oh, here's the nuke on Fu.
That's the thing, really. Yeah, and Zyrex is resetting. Knowing when not to nerf a Big Bang is really important. There just comes a point where you need to look at your hit points and you go, yeah, I can take that. Probably.
We do have Mecha Link finishing in 7th place, time of 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 38 seconds. So GG's to Mecha Link.
That's GG to you, sir. And
looks like Aureliax is looking for that D-Machine fight, see if he got it. Ooh, that is a horseman.
Yep, interesting pattern. He may not be as familiar with the map, but we'll see. Alexa heading back in, and this should go much better than before.
I agree. Fusia is so much better equipped to take on the Zirma's fight than Tella.
Yeah, like, this is gonna be a world of difference here. While Zyrak goes back in, and hopefully this goes better than last time. Zeromus is not a joke boss. You know what? If you let him get up on you, he'll take his advantage. He will continue his frosty domination of the moon and the world. Might be wondering about Cecil's agility, because, yeah, Zeromus does seem a little fast here.
That definitely could be a factor here.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Agility manipulation really isn't the be-all, end-all, but it can make a big difference, especially when you've got a marginal level party like this.
Yeah, Zyrex is definitely fighting at a pretty low level overall, and so that could be. This is one where the agility manipulation could really be the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah.
If you're up in the high level, like if you've got 3,000 HP on your front line, then that doesn't matter nearly as much. But when you've got less than 2,000 HP on edge, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, and honestly, I do not know about rezzing Palom right there, just because he's got no chance of survival. Just let him sleep.
Really finding that D-Machine fight. No horseman this time around, so the grind is on.
Yes. We'll hopefully see him joining us soon on the moon.
Oof. That fire is getting him pretty good too.
Ooh. Yeah, there's I see one big issue there, and doesn't seem to be the case so much here, but for this fight, you really want Fu to be in the middle slot to be getting that little bit of extra accuracy with the weak spell.
That's a good point. In this game, whoever is in the center spot gets a bit of a boost to accuracy, and as Neon just mentioned, it affects both physical attack and spell accuracy.
Yeah, and we're looking at a wipe, I think. On Aurelius, I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll
see.
see.
Pretty fast.
Yeah, and that's another reason why you don't really want Sid in the middle for this fight. They've got a lot of hit points. There's a reason why it pretty much has to be weak and not, say, Kane with the Dragoon Spear. Oh wow, that Big Bang nearly wiped out Zyrak right there. And honestly, that's kind of the point where, you know what? I would just call it, a boy and his uncle. Fu can certainly keep Cecil alive. Don't res anybody. Just keep Cecil berserked and let him do the job.
Zyrak has got this nerf on the mind every single time, and I think that might not be the right choice with this party makeup here.
Yeah, no, like, at this point, even, head back out, take a boss, get some more hit points on Edge, on Kane.
Yeah, grinding a couple levels might not be a bad idea at all.
Yeah, you don't need a lot, just to get them a little bit over the hump, and then just let them go to town. Make it so that they can take so that you're sure that they can take a big bang, and then don't nerf. Meanwhile, Alexa is having a much easier go of it than last time. With some Drain Spear stats on Kane, or Sword. I think Sword if he's doing less than 1,000 damage.
Throwing another Silk Web.
Oh. Silk Webs don't stack.
What a psych. Oh, here comes the Big Bang.
Oh. And it's good. Edge drops, but you know what? Kane's a good, strong boy. And down goes a party one more time.
And there's an exit on Zyrax. So
Okay, and yes, Cecil is level 44. We are looking at 28 agility on Cecil, so it's not agility problems, it's everybody's level problems.
And we have another finisher, 8th place. We have Fred Coughlin finishing at 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 32 seconds.
GG to you. And Alexa opens up another ice cold can of Bursk. And the nuke one-shots Edge, but that's fine. Helen gets him back on his feet. After the Big Bang, which is nice.
And in 9th place, we have Big Dumka. Time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 6 seconds.
Oh, GG to you, Big Dunka. He's also one of the people doing some very interesting work in trackers lately. Definitely worth checking out if you like overloading your information in your tracker when you play. And I certainly do, so... And yeah, I think Alexa has this one in the bag. Nothing's really threatening her. She's got a rhythm down.
And in 10th place, we have Crimson Avix. Time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 22 seconds.
Oh, GG Crimson Avix. Come on, Alexa, you can take this adorable little hate monster.
And in 11th place, we have Salty Fry. Time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 43 seconds. GG's to Salty.
GG Salty. Moving on from being very good at another Final Fantasy game, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of fun from him here too.
Well, it looks like we are finally getting those back-to-back finishes. We have 12th place finishers, Great White Hope. 1 hour, 54 minutes, and 10 seconds.
Oh, another GG goes out to you. Yeah, no need to keep rezzing. Just,
Bursting and healing.
that's all you need. It's a perfectly good team that Alexa has right now.
I will point out I do like seeing Zyrak doing some grinding in the lunar subterranean here. So.
Yes, definitely a good call. This is a case where, you know, I think that fight was winnable, but not how he clearly is used to fighting Zero, so you need some more levels to pull that off.
Yeah, I agree. What didn't look comfortable at those levels using that strategy. I mean, I do like, personally, I use Silk Webs to nerf Zeramis quite a bit, but if you can't take a nerfed, if like almost none of your characters can take a nerfed Big Bang after getting hit with the Duke, then it's really tough.
Yeah, like, you know, Silkwig is my preferred opener on Zero, but
Sure.
Past that, you know what?
If you've got access to Nuke, that's better, but I'll use Silk Webs if I don't.
Yeah, I mean, either or.
But in this case, I think it would have been more prudent to just take the full-powered ones. If necessary, throw a life potion on Fu, but just cure 4, basically.
Yeah, like, this was a job for YOLO strats. And yes, I see Alexa has opted to let Edge and Palom take a breather while the Baron boys and Uncle Mop do their job.
Looks like Fu might be running low on MP, though. Let's see what happens after this Big Bang.
Well, this fight's been going on long enough that I don't think it's going to be a huge issue, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I think she's expecting him to be running low on hit points. But we get a black hole, so we'll probably see her resurrecting Fu at least. There it comes. We'll get everybody healed up.
And an Ether 2.
Good, good.
And now can chill with some bursts.
Yes. Remember, drink burst. Guaranteed to bring the fight to you. Not a guarantee. And JR Dad in chat asking about what's new. What are the rules to this fight? Zeromus is still the final boss. This is just the Z flag, or for our American friends of the South, the Z flag, which will, in addition to randomizing, well, the Z flag just randomizes Zeromus's sprite. The fight is absolutely identical to vanilla, but instead of fighting a big ol' space monster, we might be fighting an adorable frost monster.
Yeah, it's a completely superficial change. All it changes is the image. All of the things that Zeramus would do, in this case, Frostbus does.
Yes, and Kane for a lovely 420 damage on Zero. So you know what? We know what his plans for after this fight are, and I say he's earned that.
Oh, and there we are. Alexa gets the flash and finishes in 13th place. A time of 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 56 seconds. GG's Alexa.
GG, very well played to you.
see if we can get Alexa in for an interview.
While we wait for her, we've got Zyrak trying the fight again.
This time a little bit more beefier HP numbers, so hopefully this is going to work out a little bit better for him this time.
Yeah, I think there should be far less trouble, unless he gets bogged down again in keeping Pelham alive, which hopefully he realizes that, honestly, Pelham isn't gonna be the huge deal here. I like Pelham. He's very good. This isn't a fight setup that needs him so much. And as far as other rules to... Since JR Dad probably would like to know about other things about this randomizer, since we've got some time, yes, we obviously have the adorable Frost Monster. Otherwise, in this case, it is an open-world randomizer. You start with an airship, and you pick up characters, you pick up key items. You're looking for the crystal to turn Zeromus from his original form and into this. You're also looking for a way to get to the moon. That can either be the pass, which used to be just a ticket to a burlesque show in vanilla, and is now a free ticket to the moon, or as all... Oh! Hello, Alexa!
Hi, how's it going? Did you guys like the show?
That was really impressive. GG to you, that was nicely done.
Thank you very much. I just want to say to all the Tele-fans out there, screw you. He's never going to be your white mage, no matter how hard you try.
And you definitely tried hard there.
Did you see me, like, take a step back on the last floor of the lunar core, where I was like, no, this is crazy. And then I went forward. It was pretty fun. I have to admit, I learned a lot, and I'm surprised I came in as well as I did, considering how much time I wasted.
This was a sneaky, difficult seed. It looked like it was going to be really, really easy when you start off with basically go mode right away. But then it's like, wait, how am I actually going to beat Zeromus?
Right, yeah, Cure 3s were in, they were in Tamra, and boxes were in Land of Summon Monsters, and I decided to hook in last minute, you know? It wasn't the best decision, but I'm really happy with how I played. I feel like I played very skillfully, with the exception of some of my choices.
Oh, you know what, Yeah, I mean, obviously it didn't go well, but I have to congratulate you on, just taking that go mode start and just running with it. We were wondering if anyone was going to do that. You were the only one of the featured runners who did, and you know what? It was a hell of a show.
Thanks. I aim to please, my friends. I aim to please.
And you always do.
Oh my gosh. Let's see what the first place time was. Here we go.
Did you see the first place time?
No, I keep IRC minimized when
it was
about 104. 31. GG to everybody who's finished thus far, and good luck to everybody who's continuing. Yeah, that is a scary seed. We saw a lot of forfeits.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
I wonder what Penguin did. Did you guys interview him?
No, we're only interviewing the featured runners.
Oh, well then.
Yes, but he was in chat. He took what was available of the overworld. He ran with Tella. He didn't have Fu. He didn't even have Edge. I think he's some sort of free enterprise playing robot.
I mean, it's possible that he took Tella and did and just did the D machine not crappily like I did, and just like gained whole majillion levels for him. But I'm not really sure.
That's going to be a lot of levels. I'm sure that that is what he did do, but I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, this is really fun, and thanks for interviewing me. It looks like Zyrak is about to finish, so I would love to give them some space as well.
We're hoping so. Zyrak's had some tough luck on the Zeramus fight so far. So
it was a tough Zero fight. It was a tough Zero fight. I mean, you saw me like desperately trying to get Edge on his feet. I think that if Kane didn't have the Drain Spear equipped, which I've never done before, I would have definitely lost.
Yeah, I think that generally, I've seen that tactic done very, very well, and obviously it helped out here. I think it generally works best when there was an Avenger involved, too.
I
guess that
absolutely.
would make a difference, yeah.
Avenger makes it
still got
a million better. I have to say, we're seeing Meteor Phase now. Here we go, Zyrak, you got this, bring it home.
Come on.
What was I gonna say? You should have seen my face when Fusoya died. And I had not been counting health, so I had no idea. I had no idea where Zeramus was.
Oh, and Zyrak finishes.
GG, Zyrak. I'm gonna pop off, give some room for Zyrak. Y'all have a good night. Thank you for commentating. Scala, thank you for tracking. Yoni, thank you for restreaming. All of you are just such beautiful, wonderful pillars of our community, and I'm so excited to be a part of this with you. Have a lovely night, everyone.
Good night, Alexa. Thanks for joining us.
Good night, you too. Thank you.
So Zyrak was able to finally get it in, and I am seeing if we can get Zyrak in for the interview.
Yeah, and I think, I speak for everyone here that we're so happy to see him pull that off, because
absolutely,
that was such a rough go for a while there. And I mean, I honestly have to admit, I'm commentating here tonight because I looked at these flags and I was like, I don't want to race that. So, for everybody who actually did step up and decide to race these flags, I think every one of you is amazing.
All right, looks like we do have Zyrak. Zyrak, what do you think about that seed?
I mean, up until Zeromus, it wasn't terrible. But obviously I should have just bit the bullet. That whole scenario occurred because I didn't have any cabin left. And with the poison and no MP left on the mages, I didn't want to leave and come back in. So that's why I went with just Agility 28 Cecil. And yeah, I should have just exited out cabin and came back in and grinded those extra couple of levels like I wanted. But I mean, I went for it, and yeah, I missed every Big Bang, apparently.
Oh, you did pull it off in the end, and obviously, you know what, this is honestly a rough seed for pretty much everybody who's tried it, so, the fact that you finished at all is, that's really good.
Thanks.
Yeah. We've had quite a number of forfeits tonight, so completing this one. This was as I've been saying pretty consistently through this. This was a deceptively difficult seed. You're at go mode right away, but that party that you're given and your grinding options were not too great.
No, the party for I don't know how it unfolded for everybody else. The party for me shaped up relatively quickly, with the exception of a white mage, I guess.
I think that lack of a white mage really tripped a lot of players up.
Yeah, I did get that solved, before Penguin finished. So I guess that's something. But yeah, the grinding options weren't fantastic. And I decided to start on the doors since I was already in the underworld when I got my white mage.
Yeah, I think a couple of our runners decided to do the D machine grind, and you decided to do the doors. So. It's interesting seeing the different decisions made by different runners.
Yeah, I wasn't. I'm still not even sure if it was the right. Well, since I went on Zeromus for however long, it definitely wasn't the right decision. But had I one-shotted Zeromus, I'm still not sure if it was right because I was trying to weigh the 3 minutes of big whale travel back and forth, as opposed to grinding out, in particular, that one room of the doors where they're just all in a straight line for you, and then finishing off on the moon.
Yeah, I mean, I end up doing doors a lot, so I can't really say, oh no, don't do doors to anybody. But yeah, I mean, it got you most of the way there, and that's the important part, I think.
Yeah, if I had just played it smart and left and come back, it could have been a very different finish. But I mean, decided to go for it. Couldn't quite pull it off. It's unfortunate, but it happened.
Yeah, still came through in the end. GG to you, and yeah, great to see it finally come through. Oh,
any final thoughts on this seed?
It definitely is weird to get Crystal and Darkness immediately. It's so. I don't know if disorienting's quite the right word, but I can't really think of anything better. I felt like I was running around with the chicken with its head cut off, right, for a while. Just oh my god, if there's a white mage around somewhere or whatever, you know what I mean? It's just you just get flustered trying to figure out what the quickest thing to do is. So that's definitely another takeaway for next time.
I could definitely believe that. Well, I want to thank you for joining us tonight, and GG on your run.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, and GG.
No problem. Thanks, Neon. Thanks, Rex.
All right, so we've got Aurelix left. Let's see if Aurelix can finish this.
Yes, and stopping to think, and what are we gonna happen? What are we doing right now, Aurelix? Stopping to think and getting back on that airship. Okay. Okay, going back in here. Looking at his chest options, seeing if there's anything he missed. And checking the shop out, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what this play is here.
Yeah, he does have Fu already. He has been underground, right?
I believe so. Well, I mean, most of these chests are open. He's been...
Yeah, he's been through here. Yeah,
he's already completed battle, so we won't let him through there again.
I have never seen that mob. I have never seen that dialogue.
I did not know that existed.
Yeah.
Like, the other people in the chat aren't familiar with that either.
Yeah, so whatever that play was, he showed us something new today.
Absolutely. And
so while Aurelix figures out what that he needs to be doing next, JR Dad is asking, talking about using Fusoya as a white mage. Yes, Fusoya has both white and black magic available to him. He has a full complement of every spell in the game. And so he's fully capable of doing your healing through the Zeromus fight. He's got a lower magic pool, MP pool than more dedicated options like Rosa or Porum. But as we've seen with all of our other featured racers, he is certainly capable of keeping you standing through the Zero fight.
Yeah, so you might have to use things like ethers or the psych spell in order to keep his MP up, but as long as you've got some, or elixirs if they're available. So if that's a possibility, but as long as you're able to do that, then it shouldn't be any problem.
Yeah, there's really no issue at all with keeping him up through, as long as you have your supplies set out for you, there's really no problem using him through Zeromus, especially since a lot of the primary strats involve avoiding the nuke counters from Zeromus. You'll see them when you try and nerf, if you're nerfing, but otherwise, yes. But otherwise, it's, yeah, I mean, he's fully capable of tending to 2 or 3 Berserk Warriors.
And if you haven't had a chance to check out this randomizer yet, I'd go to ff4-free-enterprise.com and check it out. This randomizer is really fun. Those flags that are at the bottom are really adjustable and really customizable to the experience that you want to have. I think it's just a really fun game to play in general.
Yeah, whether you want to race, whether you want to play casually, you can make it pretty much the exact experience that you want. And yeah, no, there's no problem at all with asking a lot of questions. You can also hop on our Discord. You can check that out. It's linked at the top of the randomizer site as well. Everyone is really friendly, and you know what? Everyone's more than happy to answer any question that you might have. Because we all love this game, and we all love to spread it around.
Yeah, us members of the community are really the pollinating insects of this game.
Oh, and there we go. Great White Hope has thankfully figured out the command to show the direct link to the Discord. Thank you very much. So the links are available in chat, and yeah, anybody, if this looks even the slightest bit fun to you, one, after this race, are you sure? 2, you know what, it is a lot of fun, and if you think it is fun, we love you, we want to see you.
And it's one of those where it's like, you can play it casually with very little things random and getting really powerful items and chests and shops, and you can just have a lark playing it, and then you can set it to really difficult levels and really challenge yourself. If you feel like you know a lot about Final Fantasy IV, this is a way to test you. Like, you've got a lot of different ways to play this game, and there's people who will play the same way as you no matter which level you're playing at.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of ways to play, and we've got so many people playing.
Even to the point of, like, I recommend doing a run where you're talking to a bunch of NPCs, because all the dialogue has been updated, and it's great. It's amazing. Highly recommend that.
Absolutely. It's a lot of fun. That's one of the things that I really think shine through this mod, and that's that the secret ingredient is love. It's made by people who love this game, for people who either already love this game or who are open to loving this game. And I say that because I was never actually all that interested in Final Fantasy IV. My first Final Fantasy was 6. I played a lot of 5 for Fiestas. I kind of wrote off 4 a lot because, the vanilla game, it's so straightforward. The mechanics never struck me as very interesting. This it brought the game into a new light for me. It showed it off for me all the ways that, just the way it could be a really cool game.
And for me, I was hyped for Final Fantasy IV before it was launched. I've been playing it ever since it came out. I loved it then, I love it now, and I love this randomizer. So.
I was a Sega kid, so I got my Super Nintendo late.
Ah, Canadian and a Sega kid. Good.
Oh yeah. And as far as the other question about an FF6R tournament, I honestly do not know. We've got a lot of players who keep in touch with the FF1 community, and we have a lot of Zelda rando players as well. I know we have people who do play FF6R, but not as much. And I don't hear as a lot about from. I'm good at words.
The Final Fantasy VI random, the thing is, like, it's hard to dissect Final Fantasy VI into a, dare I say, bite-sized game like this. Here we are at 2 hours and 20 minutes, but considering the length of the actual, like, the vanilla game, like if you're playing it casually, this is a lot shorter than that. And I don't think Final Fantasy VI lends itself to that, so races and tournaments and stuff are going to be harder to organize when you're dealing with a much longer sort of situation.
Yeah, I know people do race the FF6R, especially just Kefka at Narsh, of course, but I think it's a much smaller community as far as I'm aware.
Looks like Aurelia X is looking for that D-Machine grind.
Yeah, and seeing him walk around like this, I am thinking he might not know how to manipulate for the fight.
Well, we'll see. This might be it.
Yeah, I could be totally wrong. As he did mention before the race that he is a less experienced runner of this rando, which, that's totally fine. Everybody starts somewhere. And, for someone who has only raced a few races, like he said, you know what? Still doing pretty well, I would say. Until you get used to it, things take a fair bit longer.
And this kind of race throws you into the deep end, but sometimes when you're thrown into the deep end, you learn how to swim, so...
Yeah, and I mean, doing a race like this one early, that's rough.
Hey, and there's the D-Machine, so we're in the grind fight.
Alright, come on.
And making use of that life potion to get bonus experience.
Oh, very important, because that is gonna cut the time down a whole lot. And this is actually an interesting fight in general. Just because it is, one of the most well-known fights in the game for being able to get huge amounts of experience. I believe this does come from being used in the vanilla speedrun of the game. I don't know much about vanilla speedrunning of the game, so I can only say so much. But I believe it's used there to get whoever's going to be doing your legwork.
I believe it's Rosa that gets all the experience in the speedrun.
Yes.
But I will say we have Holy Smith finishing in 16th place with a time of 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 17 seconds.
GG to you.
Yeah, GG's fully spent.
And yes. Edge also does get the XP as well, oftentimes, Shallow Kitty says. Which does sound familiar.
Our tracker Scarlet Kitty also saying that Edge is also a common person to get the experience in the grind fights.
Yes.
I don't run the game, but I've watched runs of the game. I usually see Rosa, but it wouldn't surprise me if they give it to Edge too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Either one of them I can totally see for it. The notion of something that you have to step root that tightly, that makes me break out in hives, to be honest. Again,
Yeah,
I'm a Sega kid. Our RPGs, their RNGs are their RNGs are based on the frame, so we don't have these step roots. And let's see what we got for XP from Aurelius. Ooh, that's not gonna be enough.
So Neon, would you join the Phantasy Star 2 rando?
I've played the Phantasy Star 4 rando a fair bit. The Phantasy Star 2 is done by the same guy. I would probably look at it.
That's the only Phantasy Star that I've played. So.
Honestly, maybe Heresy to talk about on a Final Fantasy IV rando, but Phantasy Star 4 is a fantastic game. Feels very zippy and modern even now. So if you're interested in seeing what we did as Sega kids, I highly recommend it.
We'll keep that in mind. Looks like Aurelius is dipping out of the giant here. Let's see where he decides to go next.
Yeah, may not have felt too comfortable wrangling that D-Machine grind, which, fair enough, I totally understand that. As I don't think that's enough levels to proceed, but it might be enough levels now to try something a little bit safer. And Supremacy says that, yes, that he's seen people do that at around level 43, but usually not without Rosa. I can say I once pulled it off, offline, of course, so this is just a big fish story as these things go. But I pulled it off at, like, level 37 with 3 people. It was Rosa, and everybody had Adamant, so, does that really count?
I remember when I first downloaded the rando, you could buy the Adamant in the shops for like 50 gold too, so...
Oh, my heart.
JR Dad asking if you're locked into the first 5 you find, or could they find Rosa? No, Rosa will be available in this seed somewhere, but probably up at the top of the Tower of Zoth, or at the end of the Giant of Babil, somewhere where we haven't looked yet.
Yeah, and at this point, she is genuinely, I think, the best character in the game. She's got, you know, she can hit things, she can heal things, what more do you need? But
Yeah.
It's not gonna be worth it to find her.
Yeah, she's very versatile. It's just always good to have her. Early game, if you get the right equipment drop, she can take down a lot of bosses almost by herself. And in the late game, you can either have her set up to be a berserk archer, or to be just a great all-around white mage. So, Aurelius fighting the boss again, going back to the Calbrena.
I mean, this will give a lot of XP, but, ooh. If he doesn't know you can hourglass the back half of them, I'm not sure this is gonna go any better than it did the first time. And yeah, like this. Actually, Supremacy, this is not a time you'd want to use the Meteo, because those back, Cals, they have more than 99 hit points. They will survive, you're gonna get hit for a merge. Cause yeah, I don't think he knows you can hourglass them.
He sold a lot of items too. I don't know if he has any hourglasses left.
He bought, like, 80 vampires? Which...
Yeah.
Okay. Like, they're a good item. Definitely an underrated item, but,
I think he might be trying to transform it into Calbrena and then use vampires to try to beat the big dog? We'll see.
yeah, I genuinely don't know what he's thinking here. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
He is still trying to nuke the back row ones. I'm not sure.
Maybe trying to take them down before, but keep the one Brena alive, maybe?
That might be it too.
So if he can get a feel for how many hit points they have, he can maybe kill, the top two simultaneously.
Yeah, that might be what's going on here.
Yeah, he's being very careful to see whether it dies before doing anything.
It looks like he definitely doesn't want to accidentally kill that Brena in the front.
I mean, that's a straddle, right? One down. Yeah, so he's gonna do some... Uh-oh. Come on.
Let's see if he can get this last cow.
Oh, no.
Oh, so close.
And we get Battle with the Four Fiends replaced with an inferior battle music. It's still a good song, but it's not as good. Ouch.
I think Calbrena's wrecking his day. Oh, Toad!
Oh no.
What was that size? Either way.
Either way, he's a small snack now.
Oh, man.
Like, really, like, if you're not okay with doing D-Machines, like, that's totally fair, but the moon is a perfectly good spot to grind yourself some levels. Oh no. Oh no. Well, one of my cats has come to help wish him luck with this fight, so maybe that'll be the edge he needs, because everybody knows cats are good luck. Not good luck at that. Get your head off there.
Hitting the blink is nice, but that glance.
Yeah, glance is not gonna save him. And honestly, you know, the other big problem too is that if he's doing this fight for the XP, the problem with that is, if he wants the full XP for this fight, he has to take down the Calbrina, the merged form. I just remembered that just now. Because if you want the full XP, you gotta kill every mob in the fight. So even if you were to carry this fight off optimally, it would not do what he needs. And again, I'm guessing he just does not really know that, and which is fair, because that's the sort of thing that you only really come to realize just from that kind of familiarity.
I see a really casting image with Edge here. And Blink is great in the first part of this fight. All the Cals in the brain is do are physical attacks. But once it merges into Calbrain, that glance.
Yeah, and too, honestly, this fight is fast enough that, you know, if you really get hung up on that, he's not going to be doing anything else. He needs to actually be doing some work here.
Yeah, I guess the blink would be a lot more important if the physical attacks were doing a significantly more amount of damage, which they are in this
yeah
case.
Like, they're not the threat here. Still, this seems to be possibly going a little bit better now, because certainly if he can kill all the Kells, he can get those Brainas down very quickly. But again, I think he's going to be disappointed by the XP output. Like, if you really didn't want to directly grind, you know, could have gone for looking to bring yourself up to 10 items and then done doors. I think that too would have been a bit of a better option than.
Or lunar bosses.
Yeah. Wait, there's things you can do to not be stuck beating your head against a wall like this. slowly working at equalizing these, all of these guys' hit points. I mean, if nothing else, you know, the following boss is significantly easier, too.
Well, lower HP, but still. Depends on what boss it is.
That's true. It can still ruin your day, but, I don't know. I've played enough, V1 that, this is by far the real threat of the two.
Yeah, Giant Percent is my favorite percent. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And yes, if you're stuck with one of any color, they will trigger the merge. And I think we may have it. Yes.
Got it that time of release. Good job.
And 298,000 experience. That'll do. Not sure it was worth the time and effort, but that's gotta feel good, getting that down. Going back to save, and let's see if he's gonna push forward. Yes! Well, assuming this fight goes well, we're gonna see something we rarely see in one of these races, and that's the character at the end of the giant.
Oh, Magus Sisters.
Oh.
Come on, Mindy.
Oh, God.
Yeah, physical in this spot is very tough.
Yes,
Looks like magic is very tough, too.
This looks like a job for the best item in the game. Moonveils.
Moonveil.
It
That
won't
doesn't
stop.
stop against the reflected magic, though. Delta attack.
No, but that's as we can see, that's not gonna hit very hard. Oh God! Don't virus Cindy.
Oh, and that's it.
Sitting there on the prompt, just probably trying to figure out what to do.
JR Dad asking, how does character change work? They programmed in a screen where it'll say somebody wants to join the party, and you can dismiss somebody at that point. So you have to kick somebody up permanently. You don't get extra people on the airship like in Final Fantasy VI.
I believe it is on the table to have a mode that would allow that for them to be waiting on the whale. But right now, that's just a pipe dream. And I think that'll be a very interesting mode. If that ever does happen, it'll really change up tactics a lot. But for now, you know, you get what you get, and no takebacks. Seems like we're looking for the grind fight again, which seems like a reasonable call here to me in this situation. Question is this the fight?
We'll find out shortly here. We
Hooray!
are in the fight.
Okay. I'm not sure why. He's probably casting the weak too fast and mistargeting. That's why he's not getting this off. And the JR Dad, usually they join as event triggers, so that's probably easier said than done, having them respawn where you got them.
Well, at least Edge and Kane will get some XP here.
Yeah. Not a lot. He gets a 10th though, which I think he very badly needs at this point, because I think he's out. At this point, too, for anybody wondering about this grind fight, one of our community members, Invenerable, has done a fantastic video just explaining how to read the map that tells you how to find the grind fight here, and how to actually pull it off. You can find a link to that on our Discord, and it's the sort of thing that... you know what? That's what helped me understand how in the world to read that chart. And it's certainly the sort of thing that I think Aurelius could benefit from reviewing as well, because it looks like he is struggling with this.
A big shout out to Venerable. That video is extremely helpful. Highly recommend.
Yeah, it took something that, you know, it looks like nonsense, and it turns it into something that you can read.
I don't know, it doesn't seem like Aurelius is having too much trouble finding the fight, but it looks like he might not have a lot of experience in trying to execute the fight.
Yeah, the video does go over that as well, too, so,
yes.
Yeah.
But, you know, learning that and executing that is still definitely takes practice, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I know whenever I try and pull this fight, I have things go very badly, very quickly. My timing is not great, and that's why you don't see me at the top of leaderboards. Okay, good. He got the targeting off on this one, which is very important here.
Oh,
And the other big thing too here, when the fight is in this state, where it's just the searcher, you're in no rush. It's gonna keep identifying target all day long. Just sit there, get yourself back on your feet.
Yeah, do what you need to do, heal up if you need to. Because you know, as soon as that D machine comes in, it's gonna start spamming that fire attack. And that does a percentage base, so... it can be quite a lot for somebody like Sid in this case, who has about 2,700 HP.
Yeah, Final Fantasy IV is a game that loves its percentile damage. It's interesting the way it uses it so often, and it makes some really interesting fights, but it makes a lot of fights like this really threatening.
Yeah, with monsters who spam it over and over again like this fire attack, it can get very dangerous very quickly.
Yeah, it is, you do have to be on the ball to do this fight, safely. If you do it right, again, it is relatively safe. But if you do it wrong, and, Believe me, it's possible to do it wrong. Things can go south very badly.
Oh yeah, like not knowing how much your caster of week has for MP left can sometimes just spell disaster.
Yeah, because especially too, like the primary weak casters that you have, they're gonna be Fusoya, they're gonna be Tella, who don't have much in the way of magic points.
Yeah, because by the time somebody like Pal or Rydia learns weak, you're basically done grinding. You're very close to the end of it.
Yeah, like you don't need to grind anymore by the time they get weak.
So yeah, that leaves Fusoya and Tella, and both of them are pretty low on the MP pools.
And the way the casting life to double EXP works is, when something is has a life spell cast on it, not the life 2, just life 1, and that can come by the spell or by the potion. It will be the amount of hit points it comes back with is based on its vitality stat. And because of the way the monsters in Final Fantasy IV were coded, they all have a vitality stat of 0. So if you resurrect them, they will come back with 0 hit points and die immediately. So you will get the experience points as if you had killed 2 of them instead of 1, or 3 of them if you're lucky. Or more if you're very, very good at this game.
That vitality feature can also cause weird things if you've got equipment that can boost vitality on like a level 1 Rydia, and have her die and then resurrect her, she can end up with more HP than her max. So it works weird in lots of situations. Like a lot of kind of buggy things in this game. A lot of things in this game work kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a really kind of interesting sort of... Like, it is a bug, but it's an interesting sort of outgrowth of the way the code in this game works.
Yeah, it's almost barely a bug. Because, I mean, it basically works as function, like as designed with the characters, especially for a vanilla game, because, you know, the life potion, you revive somebody, their hit points is based on the vitality. And as the characters get better, that vitality stat grows, so they've got more starting HP when you revive them. That makes sense.
Yeah, and monsters, their hit points are predefined. They don't change. Why do they need a vitality stat? Exactly. They don't.
But the thought of using our own curative items to revive enemies, that's just something that just wasn't accounted for in games. This weird kind of pseudo-bug comes in. Oh, I got the horseman this time, though, Aurelius. That's not a D machine.
The Jared Ed is now asking how tough the boss in the sealed cave is. It's actually one of the harder bosses in the game. It was a pain vanilla. The wall can be a pain if you encounter it elsewhere, depending on the slot. And the boss that you encounter there, it can be rough because that's a very fast slot, and it's one that can hit hard.
There is a weird exploit with that boss, though. If there's no targets available for attack, it'll attack itself. So we saw that in this race earlier. Somebody was fighting the wall, and Kane jumped, and there was no living targets for the wall to attack, so it attacked itself and killed itself. Another way to exploit that is by making Edward hide and having him be the only living character. Thus, the wall has to fight itself.
Yeah, so of course the problem with that particular tactic is that means Edward is the only one getting experience from that particular fight, which, desperate times call for desperate measures, so if it's the only way you have of getting through that fight, by all means, but, do you really want Edward to get all your experience points from any fight?
Well, sometimes you just gotta cheese a boss.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it is a fantastic bug. It is definitely worth looking up a video of it, at the very least. It is good times.
And that's another one that's, the Edward one is one that the developers, of course, wouldn't consider, because you don't have Edward when you fight the boss.
Yeah, interestingly, this Kane scenario could happen, because Kane doesn't leave your party until the end of that dungeon on your way out.
I usually just spam virus.
That'll get the job done just as well. And of course, that too is another case where if Kane is getting all the experience points from that fight, as his terrible case of betrayalitis kicks in at the end, that's not great for your party either. But really, I mean, can you really blame him so much for all of those betrayals? Have you seen what Golbez looks like under that armor? I would betray my best friend for that. Oh yes, as Jared says, yes, Kane is absolutely still useful. He is generally my favorite character in the game. He is fantastic at, you give him a job to do, as long as it's the sort of job he can do, he will get that job done.
Which is hitting something hard.
Yes.
He doesn't do a whole lot else.
Hey, sometimes he will be hit hard by things. Sometimes he will be not hit at all by things.
Oh yeah, he'll jump. He's very useful in the Valvos.
Oh yes. Finally getting some good levels on these kids. Hopefully Aurelix is looking at them and going, you know what, that's good enough. Because I'm looking at those levels, and they look just fine to me.
I'd be happy with these levels for sure.
Or is he going around one more time?
Reset makes me think he's gonna grind.
Might just want a little bit more oomph.
I didn't know, did we get to the level where Palom knows Nuke? That might be what he's looking for.
It is J2, so I think he needs 2 more levels on Pelham for that. Pelham is level 54. I believe it's level 56 on J2.
And JR Dad, yes, Kane is a lefty. So is Palom.
Yes, and you know what? As a left-handed person myself, I'm happy to see, a left-handed character in a video game. That's not something you usually see taken into account, and it's really cool.
It is really nice, like, flavor-wise, adding that in, but menuing-wise, it gets me every time. Especially Palom. Trying to use the Stardust Rod as an item. Oh my goodness, never can find that.
It definitely does take some getting used to. Honestly, everyone else's levels are such that I don't really think Pelham needs Nuke, but at this point, I totally get wanting to be sure.
You might just want to cross that 2000 HP barrier, too. That's
yeah.
Kind of like, when I was first learning the Rando, that was kind of my baseline that I wanted for the Zero List fight, was all my characters at 2000 HP.
Definitely, I was the same way for a long time. Obviously been, as I mentioned earlier, working on getting more comfortable doing it at lower levels, but if you want to have a smooth fight, everybody above 2k, that's how you do it.
Oh, and JR Dad, yeah, everything is definitely catered to people like me who are right-handed. I'm fully aware of this. it still is inconvenient for me to move over to the right one tick on my controller to activate that Stardust Rod for battle. It is a very silly complaint that I have, but it is still a complaint that I have.
Oh, just imagine what it's like for me having to tick over to the right hand for everybody else.
Well, just because you're right-handed doesn't mean that the default cursor starts in the left hand for the game. Although that would be a kind of an interesting gameplay mechanic. Like at the beginning of the game, it's asked, "Are you right or left-handed?" And then based on that, it changes up how you control. Like,
there actually are DS games that do that, because there were a couple that you hold the DS sideways, so, But that is definitely neither here nor there. And we're getting all of our left-handed representation out in chat, so good to see us all here. And, you know, I know we're better. You know we're better.
You guys can sling all your arrows at me if you like. I'll be the punching bag for the right-handed majority.
And this, I think, should be it for Aurelius. If we're right about what he was going for. Encounters off. That, I think anybody would be happy going into a 0 fight like that.
He's healing up, though. Let's see what happens.
He is just completely out of tents and cabins, so... we'll see here. Oh. Another round?
We're going another round.
Trying to get Fu over 2200 maybe? Because that is another safety point.
I don't know if Aurelius is thinking about surviving Big Bangs or surviving the Delta attack.
Oh no. You don't need to survive the Delta attack. You can take 0.
Yeah, that's my fear. But we'll see.
Well, good night to you, J.R. Dead, and thanks for coming out, and thanks for watching, and let's keep seeing where this goes, because we're here.
You certainly are. Whoa, sorry.
Oh! Everything
That was
okay?
my bad. Yep.
Well, that'll wake everyone up.
Yep, my phone just accidentally dropped into the trash can. Sorry.
Oopsies.
Sorry for the noise. But
And he's leaving.
That's a relief. Well, we've hit the 3-hour mark, so I figure we do need that wake-up moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is a long one for, even for these flags. But it's certainly shown us a gamut of the various strategies that people will attempt when facing off against some challenges that they're definitely not used to.
Without a doubt.
Definitely taking a harder nap in the big whales. I guess those are beds. Futuristic moon beds. Oh no.
The giant!
What are you doing? You can beat the game!
Relax doesn't think this is giant percent, does he?
I don't know.
Because yeah, he's definitely powerful enough to take out Zerolus.
Yeah, like, without a doubt, like, these levels, you can take Zero to school. Another...
grinding.
Oh, gosh. Well, this is certainly a thing.
Well, we do have another finisher. Rumblefish82 has finished in 17th place at 3 hours, 7 minutes, and 21 seconds. So GG's to Rumblefish.
Yes, GG Rumblefish. I believe that's another FF1R racer as well.
Crossing over to the Final Fantasy IV world.
I mean, both the randomizers, they do things very differently, but there's a lot of similarities, so you do see a fair bit of cross-pollination, so it's always interesting to see which way everyone goes.
Yeah, that's one that I'm actually looking to pick up.
Yeah, I've mostly been watching the races. They have a fantastic commentary team, and I definitely recommend watching those races if you've been enjoying watching the Final Fantasy IV races as well. Yeah, I keep meaning to actually play the game, but things keep coming up, and I never quite get around to it.
Yeah, life has this nasty way of interfering with randomizers.
Yeah, it's like, look, I just want to play video games. Stop making me have to do things.
Yeah, really is unfair, isn't it?
I know, right? It's like, they tell me that I have to show up at work if they're going to pay me. Like, that's just ridiculous.
I love the single target cure 4, just automatic full HP, doesn't even display the HP gained.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun right there. Okay, another 2 levels for everybody. Come on. Is that enough? Do you think that's enough? I think that's enough.
I thought it was enough, like 2 or 3 grind sessions.
Yes, apparently Aurelix does not, though. What in the world? Like, that is one thing I will be very curious to find out for sure, because I'm really wondering what he's pushing for here, because I got nothing.
We've got another finisher, Father Gamer 113, has finished in 18th place. A time of 3 hours, 11 minutes, 18 seconds. GG to Father Gamer.
Yes, GG, Father Gamer. And who all else is still racing? Let's take a look. Where are we? Still waiting on Aurelix, of course. Ovokjan, who timed out of the IRC channel a while ago. And Imperial Dragon. So we do still have a race going on here. We'll see what happens. And we've got another fight done. At level 62 to 4, checking pound spells, saw the nuke. Maybe that's enough. Maybe this long trial of grinding is over. Oh no, he's healing.
This here does not bode well.
Tier 1s now? Sitting on that silver apple, come on, please look at your gear and your stats and realize I can do this. And he's leaving.
Well, let's hope he goes to the moon this time.
Yes, because I think we very rarely get to see Zero go down at these high levels. Should make for an interesting, hopefully short fight. Because at this point, this should be a massacre, the likes of which we very rarely see. Let's go to the crystal. Go to that crystal. He's getting out. Where are we going?
More tier 3s, maybe?
I mean, I don't think he needs them, but, Oh, going for wine. I mean, I think a wine run is definitely well called for here.
You go for a wine run IRL.
Indeed.
And the other real boss of the game, NPCs in your way.
Yeah, I mean, they can certainly be trouble. Buying more vampires. Why are you buying more vampires?
Yeah, not sure.
He
It's
hasn't
gonna be
even
like the all vampire strategy.
he hasn't even used the one he's got. The ones he's got. 92 vampire. No, 112 vampires. No, more than that. I can math. 123. 123 vampires. Nobody needs that many vampires.
Well, Aurelix does.
Apparently, I'm really curious to know what the plan here is for that. Yes, indeed, Invenerable, it is still going. We are still here. We plugged your video, but it looks like you came back just in time for Aurelix to finally go to the moon.
With a lot of vampires in tow.
You know, I did hear somebody... I was reading in the Discord, about basically stupid zero tricks of going in with a lot of vampires and walls up. Maybe he's looking to do that.
Hey, if I get to see a vampire on Zeramus...
Yeah, like, that'll be all worthwhile. What do you... Okay.
I don't know if Aurelix knows that you get a free heal right before the Zeramus fight.
That's totally fair. I forgot one once while I was on the big screen, too. So, that one I'm more than happy to give him.
Oh yeah, like learning where you get the free heals in this game is another part of that learning curve. Like it's there's a lot of unusual places where you get that and you just don't realize it.
Yeah, and I mean it makes sense that, you know, you would get that going into it, but it also makes sense to think, I should probably heal before going into this, so
Well, it's, you know, when you play the vanilla game, there's the long cutscene where all your characters are basically dead, and then all your friends give you the vitality and the energy and everything like that, and so they kind of represent the healing that you get. And since that cutscene's been edited out, you don't think of it as a heal, but it does heal you.
yes. Oh, where are we going? Oh, okay, I think he just isn't sure through the way through here, which, again, that's a familiarity thing.
Yeah. This is a huge maze. I make wrong turns in the Antlion Cave, and that's just 2 floors.
Yeah. Yeah, like, this is totally fair, especially since, really, the most of the times you play, you're gonna want to use that pass.
Oh yeah, walking down the lunar subterranean doesn't happen very often with flags like these.
Yeah, like, normally you would expect to pick up a pass somewhere along the way, even with it being in the key item pool.
Well, I guess K2 you're a bit more likely to be heading down to the subterranean than K1, but...
Yeah, but that's just gonna be to, you know, get the sweet, sweet key item juice from the bosses.
Oh yeah.
And that's a wrong turn I make, like, every other time, right there. Using a second save point. Yeah, and doing it in a separate slot, that's always a good idea. That's something I'm working on, using multiple slots.
Yeah, one outside the dungeon, one inside the dungeon. I think that's usually a pretty smart move.
Yeah, very smart, especially with some of the longer ones. But even in here, you know, if he decides, God forbid, that he needs to leave, he can do that without having to walk. And here we are, at the big Z.
Lots of vampires. I'm moving the star rails up, so it might be, as you said, walls and vampires.
Yeah, like, that'll be interesting if we see it. Ooh, 10 agility with the cursed ring. Yes, taking that right off.
25 seems better.
Yeah. It's not great either way, but you know,
at these levels that shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, it'll be fine. And especially if this is a strat that we are going to see, this is going to be something. Oh no, 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 don't use Starbills first! Another one of those familiarity things, and this rarely comes up, every time Zero shakes, in the pre-fight, that's gonna strip every effect off of your, party. So, if you have a, interesting strat like this in mind, do not Starveil up first. Do it afterwards.
Yeah. As you said, that's one of those things. This is a learning process.
Yeah, like, it does not come up much, because, usually you're not needing to get that many things off that early in the fight, And yes, we've got vampire strats! So you know what, maybe you figured, you know, we've been going on this long, make it good, give us a show, which, bravo! On some Moonveils too, which are very good, at least in the inventory. I would favor using Moonveils here because Starveils do wear off, but, oh, and he's realizing that, yep, that got stripped. So maybe we're just going straight into the heavy-duty, heavy hitting. Oh yeah, we are all fine on these big bangs.
I would have liked to see a cure instead of a nuke there, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, no.
Oh, using a vampire. This is kind of scary. Oof. Oh no. Oh, now I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm thinking, just seeing the damage the vampire is doing, I'm not thinking it's gonna be enough. At least not in any reasonable sense.
If those walls were up and those nukes were hitting Frostmas instead of
Yeah, I think that's...
the Navy.
Yeah, I think bouncing the counter nukes is what's critical here.
Yeah. Don't keep vampiring. Revive Pooh.
Oh, no,
Heal
no,
up.
no, no, no! Bring it back
Not
up!
like this.
And... Yes, that does indeed. That feels FF4, man.
Mhm.
Oh boy. Well, hopefully after seeing this, he tries a more conventional strat.
I don't even think the strat's necessarily bad. It's just the as you pointed out, the using the star veils before the transformation.
Yeah, like at these levels, you know, everybody should easily get a turn before a big bang. Get those up ASAP, and then just go to town.
Yeah, and then the vampires will be able to heal up past the big bangs. All the nukes will be damaging Frostmas.
Yeah, like you just... The problem is, you know, especially when you're using star veils, they do wear off, even without zeroing.
That's true, but once the first
Yeah.
the first nuke hits through after the star veils, then you know to either switch up the strat or re-up the star veils. So,
Yeah.
fighting more bosses.
Why are we still grinding?
It's not that you're too weak. You're plenty strong.
Yeah, please, just fight. Hopefully this steamrolling of what would otherwise be kind of a painful boss, will help him realize that, please, you have enough levels. You don't need any more.
I missed it. Really gain any levels off that?
That was an adamant. What? Why? Yeah, I mean, you know, it's good to see him keep going and not, like, forfeiting or anything. But at this point, we're kind of at a point where what he just needed to do is just, you know, go for it.
Just go in and swing some swords.
Yeah. Open up a fresh can of Bursk and go to town.
I don't think he even needs Bursk at this point.
Yeah, I mean... And it does look like we are actually running out of time for this slot. So I think what we're planning to do next is, we are, going to start hosting him right now, so everybody can go over and cheer him on. But I think as far as it goes, I know my time, it's past midnight, yeah, let's all go. The race is still going on, so let's not give them direct hits, but, I think we're about ready to go.
I agree. I want to thank you for calling the race with me tonight, man. Thanks to Scala Kitty and Yanni Man for helping us out behind the scenes, doing a great job here tonight. And all of our featured runners, Alexa LaFay, Aureliox, Supremacy, and Zyrak.
Yes, thank you, Scala. Thank you, Yanni, and thank you, Rex. And yeah, thank you everyone for still watching. Let's all go and give him a big cheer.
Yeah, cheer on Aureliox for sure.